So just to talk a little bit more about that, the light of Mashiach. Basically, people always ask, what's it going to be like when Mashiach comes? Like, how's the world going to be? It says that, are we going to have the holidays? Because the Gemara says, the oral Torah teaches us that Kol ha-moadim betelim ve'yemei Purim enam nivtalim. All the moadim, all the holidays are going to be cancelled, and besides Purim, Kol ha-korbanot betelim chutz mikorban todah. All the sacrifices will be cancelled besides the sacrifice of todah, of thanks. So what does this mean exactly? So Rav Natan says, God forbid to think that any word of the Torah is going to be cancelled and that we're not going to keep anything. Obviously, we're going to continue, keeping the Torah, everything, because the Hashem and the Torah and Am Yisrael, it's all one. Everything is oneness. So the creation, that like the world that Hashem created, it's like a tiny little seed that has from within it, like a seed has the potential of that huge redwood from within that tiny little thing. So that's earth, right? That's Olam HaAsiyah, this little world down here. Every single physical thing is just a physical manifestation of something spiritual going up. So it has from within it the potential of everything. So what it means, Rav Natan says, it doesn't mean that it's going to be cancelled. It means that the light, when Mashiach comes, this light that's going to be revealed, this Mashiach light, is going to be coming from the higher Sfirot, this place where everything, that oneness we spoke about in the Atzilut, where everything is tied in, all the Sfirot are tied into each other, which means even if the Sfira of Gevura, of judgment, is being, the light's coming through judgment, because it's tied in, like with these rings, each one is tied into the other one, so it's a Gevura, it's a judgment that's coming down with Chesed. It's a Bina with Chochmah. It's all of them are tied into each other. So, like if a person goes through a test, but while he's going through the test, he has like full chokhmah and understanding, and like very, he's totally like very strong in his mind, so he won't fall. So what they do, Ibn Nachman says, is before they put someone through a test, they take away his da'at, they take away his chokhmah, and then he has a test. Then it's a test, because he needs to overcome and be strong with the strength of emunah, the strength of his yirat shamayim, is the fear of sin. Right, those are the things that keep him strong, holding on when they test him. So this light that's going to be revealed from the Atzilut when Mashiach comes, like it says V'gar ze'ev im keves, the prophet says at the end of days, V'namer im gedir batz, lo yareu v'lo yashchitu b'chol al kodshi, ki mal haaretz da'et Hashem kamayim le'am mechasim. The animals, lions and sheep will be together, and there won't be any anger, any cruelty, any of this this wars that there is between humans, between countries. It's all going to be wiped out. And the reason is because Malaz Da'at Hashem, because the land will be filled with this da'at, this wisdom of Hashem. So Reb Natan says, don't think that there isn't going to be a Yetzer Hara. There's still going to be a Yetzer Hara, because there has to still be freedom. There's still freedom of choice. The koach of the Bechira, the entire world exists on this freedom of choice. But what it means when it says that the Yetzer Hara is going to be wiped out, we say in the Haggadah on Pesach, we say that the Malach HaMavet is going to be shechted, right? So what that means is that the killing of the bad, the wiping out of the bad, of the evil in the world, is because the land is going to be filled with the wisdom of God. We're going to have this deep, 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 deep understanding, which is going to give us that ability that every time we're in a test, every time we're in some sort of situation that usually we would get upset or disappointed or frustrated, what will happen is we're going to have it with such a high level of understanding and such a high level of faith and emunah and bitachon that we're going to overcome the test. So the other side is not going to have any strength, and that's what it means that he's going to be wiped out. So the same thing going back to the sacrifices, that all the sacrifices, or nothing says, of course we're going to bring all the sacrifices, right? The Torah, everything that's written in the Torah, it's all oneness with God. Every mitzvah from the Torah, it's all a part of Hashem's essence. It's a light of Hashem that's coming down into the world. Only now it's in that separation, but when Mashiach comes, it's not going to have that separation. It's all going to be that oneness. So, of course, we're going to still keep all the sacrifices, and of course we're going to, keep all of the holidays. We're still going to have Pesach and eat matzah and shake a lulav and sit in the sukkah and light our menorah and so on, right? But what they mean is that the days, all the holidays are going to be wiped out, meaning they're going to become like weak, because the Purim is going to be the only one that's going to be, which means the light of Purim that's going to come onto us is that same light that was revealed from that 50th level. It's called Shar Anun, right? It's the sphere of like Bina, way, way, way up there, right? So that light that's going to be revealed when Mashiach comes, that wisdom that the land is going to be filled with, is the same light that Mordechai Yehudi in the time of Megillat Esther, in that time he tapped in, because Mordechai was on the level, the 50th level of Kedusha. He tapped into that light of the Bina of the 50th level. And Haman was also in the Klippa on the other side. Haman, his shorish, his root in the evil, was also on the 50th. And that's why he said that he wanted to build a tree 50 amot and hang Mordechai, which means he wanted to put a blemish on the 50th level, but he didn't realize that Mordechai was on that level. You know, Mordechai was like Mamish. He's called Mare Dachya, Besamim Rosh, which means he was like the top of the incense, like the pure incense that they used to use, of the Shemen and the Shemen HaMishcha. Anyhow, whatever, I'm not going to get into that. Not enough time. But, so Mordechai, it says that this whole thing that happened in the time of the Megillah, it was basically a story that went on. We read it in 20 minutes, but it was a story that expanded and went on for, I think, 14 years. I thought it was 21 or 22, but somebody told me it was 14. Anyhow, either way, it was something that was a long process. It didn't happen, overnight, the way it sounds like when we read it. It's something that took a very long time. So people didn't make the connection between each thing that happened. When each event happened, they weren't connecting and seeing, oh, this is happening because of the events that's going to happen after. They weren't tying in all of the events and realizing and seeing the redemption that Hashem is preparing for them. Mordechai Yadai Kol Asher Na'asa, Mordechai Yehudi, he knew he was on such a high level. Like Rabbeinu says, the higher level your wisdom is on, the greater your mind gets, the smaller time becomes. As your mind grow higher and higher and higher, the time gets smaller and smaller and smaller. So for Mordechai, that time, even though for regular people it was a very long time, for him it was very, very small. So he saw the entire picture. He saw the redemption of Hashem. He realized it's a big and heavy decree, and it's a dangerous time. That's why he went out to the streets, and he was wearing, sacks, and he was fasting and mourning, and he went out to the streets screaming and got everybody to do tshuva and to scream, and Esther got them to fast, and it was a whole, they had to do, obviously, their action from below, but he believed 100%, because he was tapped into that 50th level, that Light of Moshiach. He knew he's going to be able to draw down the mercy and bring mercy down, even in a state like this, where everybody's off the derech and eating non-kosher food and marrying non-Jewish women, and all the things that they were doing back then. Am Yisrael was in a very, very bad state. It was the end of the 70 years of exile. And what happened is Mordechai Yehudi revealed this light, and that's the whole miracle that we have. The Mishloach Manot Ish L'Re'ehu it's all about connecting. All the mitzvahs on Purim is connecting to that light, right? That light of, why do you have to drink till you get completely plastered? A lot of people don't know. No, I drink beer, I don't drink at all. People don't understand the idea of drinking and getting ad lo yada. You have to, as long as you still understand, you can use your brain and have an understanding that you'll remember tomorrow morning, then you're not tapped into that 50th level. You have to get ad lo yada. In order to tap into that light that's beaming down on that day, you have to wipe out your mind completely. It has to be gone completely. And only then your mind can be a vessel to receive the light. And it's only once a year that we do that, because the power, the strength of the light, the lower the level, the light has to beam much stronger in order to light the darker place. And because we're talking about this light of the galut, of the exile that we were in, it wasn't a time where we were in Israel with a Beit HaMikdash, right? It was a very dark time, so the light of the 50th level had to shine much stronger than it usually does. And that's why, because we also tap into that light at other times, like we said, like on the Yovel, the 50th year, on Pesach night. Hanukkah also is another one. Hanukkah, that's why there's 8 candles. Rav Natan said it shouldn't have been 8 candles, it should be only 7 candles, because the miracle was 7 days. There was enough oil to light one day, so why is the miracle 8 days? We're saying no, because the one candle represents It's the one candle represents that 50th level, that Shara Nun of Bina, that light of mercy and Rachamim that Hashem brought down, such a redemption in the time of Hanukkah, that it's lighting up the 7 days. It's beaming light onto the 7 days of creation. That one. So that Bina, so the one represents the Bina. So that's why we do all 8. Anyhow, so Mordechai, right, the getting drunk is to tap into that light in order to connect to it. The Mishloach Manot, right, is any type of disagreement, or you're supposed to give the Mishloach Manot, the food, the plate of food, to a friend, to somebody that you're in a fight with, or somebody you're upset with, in order to make that peace and make that unification, because we're tapping into the light. So Am Yisrael goes out before starting the meal and doing these mitzvahs. They're finding anybody poor that might have maybe, be upset with God because of what he's going through and stuff like that, and you help him out with money, like everybody's giving money to poor people to get them out of that state. And then anyone who has disagreements with each other, people are giving each other plates of food and making up, and it's all in order to wipe out anything that has to do with this world, anything that has to do with that separation, that exile, because we're tapping into the light of Mashiach, to the light of that oneness. So that's Purim, right? And then you have Hanukkah also. It's another whole thing. But Purim is so basically what it is anyhow, sorry, I just got disturbed there. So the Purim, what Chazal mean when they say that all the holidays are going to be wiped out, it means that the light of Purim, when Mashiach comes, that light of that 50th level is going to come down into the world at all times. So what's going to happen is the same thing, the same way in the time of the Megillah, how we didn't realize that all those things that we went through, down to all those details and the things that happened in the story of the Megillah, of Vashti getting killed, and then Esther being taken. Esther was like, the wife of Mordechai, was the head of the Sanhedrin, like the head rabbi of the generation. His wife got taken into the house of Achashverosh to marry him. It was crazy. It was a disaster, right? Nobody saw what was coming. How all these little details and things that happened one after all these events, where God was inside every single stage, bringing it all to the end, which is the biggest redemption for the Jewish people. So the same thing, when that light of Mashiach gets revealed in the world, we're going to suddenly realize how every single detail and everything we went through in our life, from beginning to end, God was there at every single step, and it was all bringing us to our ultimate tikkun, our redemption, what's best for us in life. So when a person realizes that, he's going to be on such a high light, right? Such joy, realizing that everything in his life, Hashem was right there with him at every moment, even in the darkest places where he didn't see God at all. That he's going to get such joy from that, right? Right? Simcha is the world. You're going to go out of exile. You get out with joy, with happiness, right? The Simcha is Olam HaCherut. Rav Nachman says it's the world of freedom. That's what joy is. When a person is happy and he's filled with joy, he's like, he can do anything, right? He feels like he's on top of the world. So that light that we're going to tap into, that's what it means, that when we get the light of the other sacrifices, we get the light of different holidays, the light in every holiday, certain light comes down, from eating matzah, from the 4 cups, from all the things that we do on all the holidays. Each holiday has a different light. So that light is going to be very dull. It's going to be not very powerful in comparison to the light that we're going to get from Purim. Of believing and seeing that Hashgacha Prati, down to every detail, God is with us at every moment. So that's what it means, that the rest of the holidays are going to be, weakened and wiped out. That's what it means. And then Korban Todah, when it comes to the sacrifices, the sacrifice of Todah is going to be the only one, because we're going to get that light of Purim, that light of Mashiach at all times. The only thing we're going to be doing is thanking God for everything that we went through and everything we're going through and everything we're going to go through, because we know it's the best thing for us in the world. Right? And we're going to see it. So all we're going to do is going to be bringing sacrifices of thanks. We're not going to bring sacrifices for sins or sacrifice for other things. We'll still bring the sacrifices, but the main one that we're going to be doing is we're just going to want to bring sacrifices of thanks all the time. So the rest of the sacrifices are going to be like, a little bit here, a little bit there. It's going to be such a little bit in comparison to the amount that we're going to bring of sacrifices that you bring when you thank Hashem. So anyhow, that's a little bit the light of Mashiach, to try and hopefully we could tap into that light of Moshiach. And it's all about, again, it's just connecting to those little things, those little nikudot. Because right now we don't realize when a person's in this darkness of this world, every tiny little action, everything he does is the biggest thing. Nachman says every little thing you do, you run in the upper worlds, thousands and thousands of miles you're running from one side to the other in the spiritual world. That's how close you're getting. Thousands and thousands of miles closer to God for every little tiny little thing you do down here. So we should just grab and be like, that chicken that is inside of the Chazal compared us to the chicken that's inside the trash. Then he's digging and digging, and he grabs another little grain and another little grain, another little grain, right? But those little grains, that's his substance, that's his koach, that's his, that's what his life, right? That's how he lives. He's digging. Anybody who knows chickens, they use their feet to dig the dirt back. They peck another tiny little grain, another little bug, tiny little pieces. You look at it, there's not, you could barely even see it on your finger. It's this tiny little thing, but that's how they live. And maybe that's why Hashem chose the chicken to be the one that wakes you up in the morning. That one that'll wake you up out of that darkness, out of that sleep. That's the thing that'll wake you up. How do we wake up? By realizing that those tiny little things, each one of those candles, each one of those things are the biggest thing in the upper worlds. And that's why the chicken was chosen to be the one that wakes us up from the dark, because that's the thing that's going to wake us up. That's the thing that'll give us the koach to keep going. Remember, those are the most important things. Grab what you could. Grab as many little things as you could. Another little parak of Tehillim. And there's so many times a day where a person could just take a little book with him, and he has all these moments. Just another pasuk, even another word. Just every word of the Torah, every letter is brings on his soul like kedusha, sanctifies his mouth, his eyes. So Ezrat Hashem, we can just take baby steps, and just get bigger and bigger. And Ezrat Hashem, we should see Mashiach soon, fast.